Shields up, Iron Breakers. Today's video is going to be a little bit different from usual. If you're just looking for my next gaming video where I talk about a specific video game or give you a review or anything like that, this video is not that. If you're someone who likes my videos to be quick and to the point, this video is most likely also not going to be for you. This video is going to be very much old school. This video is going to be somewhat rambly, and this is a video that I've been wanting to do for quite some time, but I kept pushing it back. I kept telling myself, I don't have to make that video. I can just keep pumping out content nonstop. This is not a problem. Just keep on going and, just truck on through it, and it's not going to be a problem. You don't have to make that video. Now, before we begin, let me just assure you there's nothing terrible that happened to me or anything like that. I don't have anything particularly horrible to report. Things are pretty much smooth when it comes to my real life, so that's not something that you need to concern yourselves with. Also, if you're wondering, oh my God, is Rurikhan going to stop creating content? No, this is also not that video. At least I don't think it is. I don't have any plans to stop creating content on YouTube anytime soon, but I do want to talk a little bit about content creation because, quite simply, it has been taking a toll. I've mentioned this a couple of times in my live streams, and usually I avoid talking about this because at the end of the day, I have what I consider still to be an absolute dream job. That's why I put so much effort into it. And I know that sometimes it might not seem like I'm putting that much effort into it, but believe me, from the moment that I drop my kids off at school to the moment that I turn off my computers in the studio, I think of absolutely nothing else but content creation. And that is actually part of the reason why I wanted to make this video. You see, 2023 has been a fantastic year when it comes to video games, particularly when it comes to video games that I'm interested in, because you can have a year that has tons of video games, but maybe there's not a lot of video games that I'm interested in. Like maybe there's a lot of Call of Duty, Fortnite, FIFA, blada blada, whatever. What am I saying? That happens every single year, right? Those particular IP receive giga updates every single year. So, but you guys know what I'm saying. Like, you can have a year that's really good in gaming, but maybe it doesn't have a lot of games that you care about. But that's definitely not been the case for this year. This year has had a lot of video games that I've been interested in covering, and I've definitely covered a lot of those video games. And that naturally has taken a toll because, look, I'm not a young man anymore, okay? I'm 41 years old, and sitting in a chair for upwards of, let me think, probably 10 hours a day, give or take, sometimes more, if I'm in one of those days that I'm gonna stay in the office overnight. And when I say overnight, it's like usually I'll stay in the office until like midnight, 1 in the morning, and then I wake up early, but like I'll sleep not in my home. I'll sleep like at my parents' place, which is closer to the studio that I work in than my own house, because I'm not gonna be coming to my house at 1 in the morning. Just doesn't make a lot of sense. So most normal days about 10 hours just sitting on my ass. Now, I do work out in the morning to kind of like offset the sedentary and ridiculously unhealthy lifestyle that I live, but at 41 years of age, that does take a toll. Now, that particular toll isn't even the thing that really drove me to make this video. So like the physical toll, so to speak, particularly when it comes to some of the health issues that I have, which again, nothing too concerning at this point. Like I do have some stomach problems and whatnot that cause me to feel strange pains when I wake up in the morning. And there's a massive train going by. Hopefully that does not mess with the audio too much, because this is going to be one take. I'm not going to be editing any of this, particularly because I'm home and my laptop can't edit worth a damn. So whatever this phone happens to record is what's going to end up on YouTube. But anyway, I'm not even talking about the physical toll, so to speak. It's more of the mental toll, because if we take into consideration that pretty much since the moment that The Legend of Zelda started, I didn't stop. And it was very unhealthy from a parenting standpoint. Now, I pride myself in trying to spend as much time as I possibly can with my children. And I definitely saw them almost every single day with the exception of like 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks they went to vacation with my parents. And even then I went over to where they were for like 2 of those days, I believe, because I still wanted to see them. But I try to spend as much time as possible with my kids, play with my kids, hang out with them, and try to teach them things that I consider to be important, particularly my son. I try my best to basically get him to understand how he should conduct himself. And he's still very young. He's 8 years old. I mean, he's a kid, but he's got like a couple of problems when it comes to controlling his anger. I'm not sure if this is normal because naturally I've been a parent for 8 years, but I've never had another son or anything like that, or a child that I've interacted significantly with at 8 years of age, except when I was 8 years of age, and I don't remember anything about that. But my son has some serious temper tantrums, and I'm dealing with it. I'm trying to come up with outlets and trying to come up with things, but my son needs, at least I would assume from the stuff that I hear from school and from other parents and stuff like that, my son needs a little bit more help than the average kid. And I don't mean like he's dumb or anything like that, and who cares? He's 8 years old, right? But I mean, I feel like he needs a little bit more guidance, so I need to spend more time with him, is what I'm getting at. But anyway, so as I was saying, ever since I started in May with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't stop. I don't even remember what exactly the sequence of events was, but I know that before that we had Wild Hearts, and I don't know if there was anything after that. But we basically went Legend of Zelda, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16, and what came after that? Like I even have problems remembering all of the things. Or was it Final Fantasy 16 before Diablo 4? No, I think it was Diablo 4, then Final Fantasy 16. Then I wanted to do some more Diablo, and then the whole situation happened with the Dark Pattern and the Season Pass, and you guys probably know about that. I don't want to bore you about that stuff. But after that, we did, again, I can't really remember. I think we did Remnant 2 after that. Then I don't know what came after Remnant. I think there was something else, but if it wasn't, then it was Lies of P, and then it was Lords of the Fallen, and then immediately after Lords of the Fallen, what came along? I don't know. At some point in the middle of that, there was also Wayfinder, which is actually a game that I'm kind of sad that most people are kind of ignoring, because Wayfinder is a game that I've had so much fun with so far. I've been really, really enjoying Wayfinder. And I hope that, that game continues moving forward and that it doesn't just become another one of those live service games that kind of slowly fades into obscurity, because I really enjoy that game. And I hope it does well. But anyway, continuing onwards, right? I did coverage on all of that, and now we're jumping back into Remnant 2. Was there a game that I did before we jump back into Remnant 2? I don't even know anymore. But we're jumping back into Remnant 2 because there's a DLC coming out next week, and naturally I want to be playing that because I genuinely believe that Remnant 2 is one of the most underrated games that we've had this year. It's such a fantastic game. Like, I have a ton of people arguing about, which one's the best Souls-like? Is it Lies of P? Is it Lords of the Fallen? And don't get me wrong, Lies of P is a phenomenal game. Lords of the Fallen is a game that I've had a lot of fun with. It's got a lot of problems. The team does seem devoted to fixing a lot of those problems, but yeah, Lords of the Fallen, at least last time I played it, is still in a very rough state. I'm hoping they'll fix that up because I would love to be able to recommend that game in the future. But you know, people are arguing which one's the best Souls-like, and to me it's like, bro, it's Remnant 2. Remnant 2 is the best. What do you mean? I love that game. Like, we've done the I know that I haven't done the entirety of the apocalyptic playthrough on YouTube, and that's one of the things that I want to talk about as well. But, you know, I completed the apocalyptic playthrough with my friends, Waranagashi and Kagrin, and we're currently doing the hardcore playthrough. Now, that one I will only do while streaming. That's a promise, because I just think that is so fun. Even though it doesn't really have a lot of viewership, like we're averaging like 100 people watching or whatever. But I don't care. It's whatever. You know, YouTube is one of those things that it has its ups and downs, and right now we're in one of the phases that it's down. That's also not the reason I'm making this video. But the point of the matter is, right, I've done all of this coverage, and I've done for all of these games, I've done live streams, shorts, videos, nonstop, right? And I bet that a lot of people, they look at my channel and they go like, well, I mean, you got 200,000 subscribers. Of course you have a video editor. Nah. There is one man, with the exception of whenever somebody joins me for a podcast, then there's two people, obviously, you know, and bro, if any of the people that has ever been on a podcast with me, for some strange reason you find yourself watching this video, I cannot thank you enough for, you know, just accepting, joining me for the podcast. Podcasting is probably my favorite type of content to do. I just love it. I just love talking about video games. And I guess that's also one of the reasons I wanted to make a video like this, where I can just, you know, ramble off and say whatever the hell I feel like without feeling constrained to, oh no, I gotta keep it short and to the point, succinct, gotta talk about this thing. Because that's kind of like where we're at now, right? Anyway, I'm veering off on another tangent again, but we'll get back to that. But anyway, you know, so I've done all these live streams, all of these videos, all of these shorts, and I'm not complaining. I love doing it. I had a blast. But one of the things that I've noticed is that in our head, we have like this, really, dude? No, okay. So you have a stamina gauge in your head, and that stamina gauge only really gets used up when you do something that you don't 100% feel like doing, right? So say, for instance, okay, I gotta take out a few notes, make a video, do this thing, and that uses up a little bit of that stamina gauge. I gotta go work out, that uses up another little bit of that stamina gauge. Now, maybe I'm not describing it the best way, because at the end of the day, I love doing videos. I will always love doing videos, but they still take up some energy. But particularly working out is something that takes a lot of energy, because let me just tell you, I don't like working out. I hate it. I hate it. It's not fun for me. I know that some people enjoy working out. I don't. I can't stand it. And it's funny because I've been pretty much sticking to the workout plan that Eric's made for me. And the only times I will not do a workout is because either I simply was really not able to make the time, or if I'm sick, or if I have like some serious pain either in my back or my arms, which, let me tell you, very rare occasions. Like, I've been doing the Eric's workout plan for like a year, over a year, I think at this point, probably over a year. And I think I've only missed like maybe 3 or 4 weeks total. And that's because I was sick. On one of those weeks I was sick. And on another one of those weeks, I think I hurt my back doing something in one of those workouts. And I just couldn't. I physically couldn't, because I was in pain. And if you go work out in pain, it's just going to make it worse, right? So I probably missed about 4 weeks. And, you know, after you put in all of this stuff that I've been working on since May, coupled together with the whole workout thing, my stamina gauge has got a massive debuff. I really, really struggle to be able to do anything because I haven't taken breaks. And I usually don't take breaks. I rarely do. Like, you might have seen me talk about, like, sometimes I'll go like on a 1 week vacation or something, usually near the end of the year. That's because it's kind of like it's a family thing. So I go with my family and we hang out and whatnot. But other than that, I just don't take breaks at all. So it's like 1-2 weeks a year, maybe, if that. That is about the amount of time that I'll, and usually that time, a big portion of that, because it's spent with family and, and my kids and whatnot, it's not really time where you're relaxing. It's like, oh, we got to go here, we got to do this, we got to go there, we got to do this, you're not really just like sitting down and relaxing. And because of that, I feel like my mental stamina gauge has a debuff. And it is getting very hard to work like that. So to give you an idea, right, you see those videos, and any video that is not like a live stream, right, on my channel, literally any video that I do, also not a live stream and not a podcast, I guess, because those are, I don't really work too much on the intro of those, but any other video where I'm talking about a specific topic or I'm doing a review or whatever, it takes me anywhere from 50 to 100 takes to actually get started, because my mental is just so exhausted from everything that I've been doing that I struggle to formulate 2 sentences in a row. That's why I gave out the disclaimer at the start of this video. This is going to be rambly because I'm going to let myself relax and actually try to explain the thought process. Because in regular videos, you gotta go. You gotta, you start the video and you gotta really just like, shields up, Iron Breakers, everybody doing today. We're gonna be talking about Lords of the Fallen. Let's freaking go. It's like that. And it's been getting progressively harder for me to maintain that type of rhythm, that type of cadence, that type of, that type of speech in a language that is not my native language. A lot of people still don't know. I'm not American. I'm not British. English is not my native language. I'm Portuguese. And I even think in English now because I speak so much English that even in my head, whenever I'm thinking about something, I no longer think about it in Portuguese. I think about it in English. I use my operating system in English. I speak, everything that I do is in English. I pretty much operate in English just so that I can keep up, just so that I don't lose my skill in speaking English, so to speak, because, pretty much everything in life as you grow older is a perishable skill. I think everything in life kind of is a perishable skill. If you don't practice, if you don't keep up with it, you're going to lose it, no matter what it is. In a lot of ways, I almost think even riding a bicycle, even though I can still ride a bike. I've rode one recently. But yeah, this is to say, like, if you've noticed, for instance, this last weekend, I didn't post anything, I didn't stream anything, because I couldn't. Like, I wanted to. And on Saturday, I was actually at the office on Saturday, which initially I had planned, I'm going to go hang out with my kids this Saturday. But the wife was like, I'm going to take them to the in-laws. We have some family over. And I was like, oh, that's great. That sounds fantastic. And so I just went to the office. I'm terrible. I don't know how my wife puts up with me. Okay. I don't know. But bless her heart, But the point is, right, so Saturday I went to the office, but I was just like, I was so tired. I could not do anything. I couldn't. And then on Sunday, it was a birthday party. I took my young one to a birthday party. My wife hates going to birthday parties, so she never does. So I always have to be the one to take the kids to birthday parties. It's a synergy, right? She deals with some stuff, I deal with other stuff. It is what it is. We make it up as we go along. But yeah, that's another thing that's been happening a lot. A lot of these birthday parties because, we had those couple of years when my kid was at school and we had COVID, and so therefore there were no birthday parties or anything where the kids could socialize, which kind of also stunted, I feel, a lot of children's social growth Like, they don't know how to behave in social environments, which just means that I try to reinforce it by every single invitation that any parent sends my way. I'm like, yep, he's going. It's like, oh, but it's a girls' party. I don't care. He's going. Okay, that's perfect. Maybe he'll start flirting with them. Well, maybe it's a little bit early. Whatever. I don't care. Okay, right? But you guys get the point, right? So I'm struggling a little bit because, like I said, every time that I start working on a video, even something as simple, like, I don't know if you watched the latest conscast that I did with Akalon talking about World of Warcraft. That conscast, because of the fact that I decided, oh, I'm going to do a quick intro to this podcast. That intro, if I remember correctly, was like 74 takes. You're talking about less than 3 minutes. Less than 3 minutes. It took me 70 takes to get that right. And I was like, whoa, dude, this is... Like, live streaming is easier because I'll just boot up the live stream and I can just chill and talk and whatnot. But making a video is something that I've been struggling with quite a bit. It's friggin' wild. It's I feel like I'm beginning to feel my age mentally, not physically. Like, physically, I think I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my whole adult life because of the workout that I've been doing. I think I'm in the best shape of my life. But mentally, I'm destroyed. And this is not me saying like, oh, I'm going to take a massive break and I'm going to stop. I'm not going to stop. And I know that, before anybody types it out in the comment, Rurikhan, it's not healthy. You need to take a break. And it's like, listen, I'm already kind of taking a break, okay? I'm not forcing myself to work every single day. There's the odd day where maybe I won't put up a video when I initially intended to do so. But I also feel that it is necessary for me to mention this, particularly for, there's a lot of you out there that are subscribing as members throughout the different tiers and whatnot, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot, and like I always say, I don't take any of this for granted, and I conduct my life as if all of this could end tomorrow. That's never changed. It's not the healthiest mindset to have, but to be honest, that's the way that I've always looked at content creation. This whole thing could end tomorrow. I'm going to keep investing in it. I'm going to give it my all, but it all could end tomorrow, because that's just the way that I feel. Because, when I started creating content, I couldn't even get monetized because the partner program wasn't available in Portugal. So I had to struggle and I had to claw my way to join an MCN, and the stories I could tell you about the very early TGN, not the TGN that exists now, the very early TGN. Holy crap, dude. Some of you guys have no idea. But I clawed my way, and that mentality never left me. Like, all of this can end tomorrow. And the more stuff happens around content creation, the more it reinforces that feeling that I have that this whole thing could end tomorrow, dude. Like, you're constantly seeing channels getting demonetized for reasons that are completely asinine and dumb. You're constantly seeing people get removed from the partner program, and you're just like, what? Why? And then you see some people that do some really shady stuff. I don't know if you guys have been following the SS Sniper Wolf situation with Jack's Films. That really just exacerbates how much there are privileged individuals when it comes to content creation, which is something that I've always known. Like, I've known this, which it's funny to even hear people talk about stuff like that nowadays, because like, I've known this since back in the machinima days, okay? Back in the machinima days, dude, I would see stuff that people would get away with, and I was like, wait a minute, what? Excuse me? What? I don't even want to get into any of that stuff, but it basically, that just reinforces the whole thing about like, look, this can all end tomorrow. So like I was saying, I don't take any of this for granted, and I just want you guys to be aware that if you see a dip in the amount of content that I'm creating because I feel like, hey, look, I need to spend more time with my kids, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. I'm not saying this as some kind of justification, because let me tell you, at the end of the day, I think I have my priorities pretty straight. And, if I lose this, I lose this. It is what it is. But the thing that I want to make perfectly clear is because sometimes I see this sentiment where people, they feel ashamed because they dropped their sub, and then they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't keep up with the sub for this reason. Like, number one, you never have to justify not giving me money. I don't know why some people, they almost feel obligated to do that. You don't need to justify not giving me money. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't justify not giving money to anybody else in the content creation, okay? The other thing is, you should never feel shame about showing up to a live stream just because you don't have your sub badge or member badge or whatever. Because let me tell you, I don't know how everybody else sees it. I know that there's a lot of people out there that like to shame people into like, you can't afford $5 for all this top tier content I'm getting. That's some fucking privileged bullshit, okay? Never listen to anybody who talks to you like that. Don't ever let anybody talk to you like that, okay? Let me tell you something. Having an audience is an absolute privilege. It is a privilege. And I've been lucky enough to have an audience for an extremely extended period of time. I feel extremely lucky for the amount of people that support me. And when I say support me, I don't even mean monetarily, even though naturally I really appreciate the people that sub and, you do the member thing. Especially super shout out to the people that sub on the highest tier, which is something that I just, I'm just going to put this tier in here. Nobody's ever going to do this. It's whatever. And not only there were people that did sub on the highest possible tier, but then when I messaged them about because whenever I did that tier, there was something that I said, oh, I will record a video for you every month. And not only these people subbed at this tier, but then they said, yeah, we don't want you to record any video. It's fine. We just want to support it. And I was like, bro, I'm so thankful. I'm super thankful. But at the end of the day, like I was saying, I'm thankful for anybody that just shows up and watches the stream. I don't, it's one of those things where it's just a massive privilege. It's all it is. It's fantastic that I get to just, play and talk about video games and give people my opinions on stuff. And, people watch the content. And that to me is something that I'm just super thankful for. And so what I'm getting at is, you should never feel like you need to give people money and you should be ashamed for not giving people money. Show up for the streams with or without the membership badge, and don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. Like, the people that talk to you down like that about like, oh, you should be paying, you should be giving me money, blah, 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 blah. Those people don't actually care about you at all. They just see you as their meal ticket. And I don't look at it like that. To me, the people that pay me is mostly ad revenue. I don't really have a Patreon yet. That might happen in the future because ad revenue is taking a giga tank. But so don't worry about me though. I'm doing fine. Doing fine. I don't have any complaints. I mean, it always affects you mentally, right? When you see your numbers go down, it does affect you mentally and takes a mental toll. But I'll be just fine. And anyway, but that's just to say that basically, like, if you do see a dip in the amount of content because I need to take more time to help with the family and stuff like that, and you feel like, well, I'm not really getting enough value out of the membership or anything like that, listen, cancel it now, okay? I don't mind. I don't look at you any differently for it. I just hope that you still come and do watch the few content that I do make, because like I said, having an audience is a privilege. And I feel like there's a lot of creators out there nowadays that feel like they're entitled to having an audience. which to me is hilarious. Like, you're not entitled to jack, okay? If people stop watching, sometimes it is the algorithm, this is true. Sometimes it's the YouTube algorithm, but if people stop watching, they stop watching. They become interested in something else, and that's fine. And maybe they'll come back whenever you return to your usual programming or anything like that, and maybe they won't. Who knows? You know? This is why, like I said earlier, this is why I do this with this philosophy that, like, this could all end tomorrow. It's fantastic while it's lasting. I friggin' love it. But it could end tomorrow. And then again, this has been a post that I did on Twitter recently, where every step of the way throughout my journey on content creation, I've had a tremendous amount of people, both on social media as well as in real life, tell me that, oh, you should get a real job. And it sucks. I mean, I don't mean it sucks that people tell me to get a real job, because look, I create content on the internet. My skin has gotten significantly thicker than to get too affected by that. What I mean it sucks is that a lot of those people have learned that they don't quite have the job security that they thought they had in their real job. And when I say this, I don't say this as in, haha, see, look at that. I mean, it really just fucking sucks that even people that thought they had a real job ended up losing their jobs, like sometimes 3 times over, while I was still able to, you know, carry on with my content creation gig. I hate seeing the state that the world is in, where there's just tons of people losing their jobs. That's the most terrifying thing to me. Just genuinely. To get myself in a situation where I won't be able to support my family or something like that. It's like, I can't even begin to imagine what that's like. And if that ever happens to me, I'm not looking forward to that. Recently, there's a couple of people that thought that I was celebrating the fact that a lot of people at Bungie lost their jobs. I think that a lot of those people missed the point of the video. I specifically pointed out, I don't want anybody to lose their jobs. I think it fucking sucks. But I think that the way things are going, specifically with the Bungie situation, the way things are going, not only those people are going to lose their jobs, they're going to cause even more people in the future in other companies to lose their jobs as well. But that's like a completely different argument. Anyway, on a bit of a different topic, because like I said, this is a rambling video. I have quite a couple of things on my chest. And a bit of a different topic. One of the things that I've noticed is that after all of the stuff that I've covered this year, like I mentioned earlier, my brain is so exhausted that my brain is looking for familiarity, and it's craving MMOs. And I was like, God, why? It always ends the same way. It always ends the same way, dude. Why are you craving MMOs? It always ends bad. It never ends good. There's always, something happens and you get burned out. But yeah, and recently, because you guys have seen that there's the Conscast that I did specifically about World of Warcraft with Akalon and all that. My brain's like, oh man, we gotta jump back in World of Warcraft, dude. They're doing Season of Discovery. They're doing friggin' a dwarven themed expansion with Bran Bronzebeard, bro. And I hate myself, dude. I hate myself so much. I hate myself for even considering it. I can't believe that game still has a friggin' hold on me. Because for so long in my life, I played nothing but that game. And it's not for lack of trying to find replacements. Because, like, you guys tell me one good MMO that has dwarves in it. Yeah, I'll wait. We had, like, Warhammer Age of Reckoning, I mean, I guess you got Lord of the Rings, but I feel like it's too late for me to jump into Lord of the Rings at this point. That game just looks and feels super old in a way that I don't think I would be interested in. But like, you know, Warhammer Age of Reckoning had some really cool ass dwarves and some neat mechanics. That could be cool to play, but you know, that's not really being officially supported or anything like that. And I don't want to be investing my time in pirate servers. I used to play pirate servers for Ultima Online. I lost my progress so many times because, you know, these servers would get started and they would get shut down consistently. I got so many stories of Ultima Online, dude. But yeah, with the whole World of Warcraft situation, I might end up, because, you know, content creators, we always like to create content about the games we're playing. I might end up checking out Season of Discovery. It might happen. I'm not proud of myself for it. I know that some people will be like, oh, you're a part of the problem. In reality, I'm not, because I'm not locking into these games and buying like a zillion microtransactions. I might pay the monthly fee once or twice. That's about where it ends. And if most people did just that, they wouldn't invest God knows how many zillion dollars into making more microtransactions. That's what people do. That's how Diablo 4 is going to get away with, what was it, $65 for a mount? $65. Probably on a discount, you could buy Remnant 2 twice once it hits like a discount on Steam. But instead, isn't it funny? I mean, I think it's actually kind of depressing. But to think about the fact that most likely there are going to be more people that are going to be buying this crappy Diablo 4 mount than people who buy a game like Remnant 2. Ever think about that? We had one of the best years in gaming, and some of the most talented people in the industry keep getting laid off. And I find it interesting when people tell me that we didn't have one of the best years in gaming. I've seen videos about it. I've seen comments about it. And it's like, I mean, look, I don't know what you guys expect. Like, I think that a lot of people have rose-tinted glasses to games of the past. Like, look, gaming in the past, sure, there were amazing gems back in the day. Yeah, sure. I mean, depending on what your concept of back in the day is. But a lot of the times, games didn't come out perfect either. They had problems. Some of them had a significant amount of jank. And people nowadays, they look at games of the past as if like these were flawless gems that could do no wrong. And somehow the games of the future are all ass. I mean, the games of the future, the games of the current, the games of the present are all ass. And I'm just like, I don't know. I guess maybe it's just because when it comes to gaming, I'm still not jaded. At least I don't think I'm jaded. I'm upset at some of the stuff that happens in gaming, but I still take a tremendous amount of pleasure in playing video games. But I think that a lot of people, they crave for something that they can, I mean, I myself crave for something that I can never really have again. I crave for the joy of discovery. It's something that I talk about in a lot of my videos where, you know, before we had the internet, right, you jump into a game and everything is new, everything is magical. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what you might find. Nowadays, everybody jumps into video games. Well, not everybody, but a majority of people jump into video games and the game is solved before they even, you know, or they look up the solution to everything in games before they even try. Like a quick example with Remnant 2, I remember when I was streaming it for the first time, and I came upon this temple with shadows, with a shadow puzzle, and I spent like an hour doing this puzzle. I could have easily looked up the solution, figured the puzzle out in like 5 minutes. I mean, not even figure it out, just look up the solution and solve it, right? And some people are telling me, oh, just look it up. I was like, no. I want to stay here for an hour and figure out this puzzle. And it's strange to me that so many people nowadays, they don't want to They want to have the solution. This is particularly prevalent when it comes to MMOs. They want to know what's the fastest way to gain experience so that they can get ahead of everybody else. You know, it's such a weird, I mean, I understand in a way the whole competitiveness aspect of it, but a lot of times you're talking about people that are never going to be competitive, no matter how hard you try, because you have a job. If you have a job, like, understand the people that are, a lot of the people that are playing these games, they don't have a job. They just log into the game. They're like, boom, that's their job. In a way, I could be one of these people that's just like, oh, let me figure out the fastest way to level up, and boom, boom, boom. I don't really do that because I don't think it's fun. And I feel like in a lot of ways, people forgot about the fun aspects of gaming, discovering things. I understand that people enjoy things in different ways, but at the same time, I just feel like we've lost something, you know? We've definitely lost something over the years, but that could just be my boomer self speaking. But anyway, I kind of feel like I don't really have much else to say at this point. I might do more of these videos if you guys enjoy them. I don't know. I'll need some feedback. You guys let me know if you like these types of videos or not, because I like doing this. I like just actually trying to connect one-to-one, to be as authentic as I can possibly be without having to focus on a trending topic or a very limited scope of a subject in order to appease some algorithm. And even though it's usually subjects that I'm passionate about, it does feel like a lot of the things that I'm doing nowadays, I love doing them, but it does feel like they're too directed in a certain way. Because this, what I did here just now, doesn't really have a place. It doesn't feel like it has a place. Which is weird, because back in the day, right, you would think of YouTube. You, the person recording the video, you put it on the tube and it's about you. Nowadays, it feels more like trending topic tube. Because, for instance, right, there's a ton of games that I have in my backlog that I would love to talk about, but I can't. I feel like this is going to develop an algorithm rant, and that's not really the purpose that I wanted to go for this video. But suffice it to say that, like, the reason I can't is because the way in which I've been doing content, and it's largely my fault as well, but the way in which I've been doing content, because you're constantly talking about the thing that is kind of relevant because, you know, I'm interested in the thing, but at the same time, it kind of prevents you from talking about older things. Like, I want to talk more about Xenoblade Chronicles X, but nobody wants to hear that, which sucks. I want to talk more about Soul Sacrifice. Nobody wants to hear about that either. I want to talk about Nier Replicant, which I still haven't played. Hell, I want to play Nier Replicant. And I even want to talk about World of Warcraft, but I can't talk too much about World of Warcraft in this channel. The algorithm will punch me into the dirt. I might put some more WoW stuff, you know, maybe even stuff like this in the other channel, the channel where I would usually post WoW shit. But yeah, I don't know. I just needed to get this out there for people to understand, particularly the aspect that, like, if you notice that it feels like I'm not putting in as much effort, it's not because I don't want to. It's just because I'm exhausted. Mentally, not physically, because it's not that demanding physically what I do at all. It's very hard to get into that mindset. And like I said, I struggle to even just do an intro. 70 takes to do a 3-minute intro. Anyway, if you've made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank you. And even if you didn't, you know, I still appreciate whoever watched this more rambly video. Thank you all very much for watching. I'm gonna go home now. I might play a little bit of Guild Wars before I go to bed. Yeah, I started playing Guild Wars 2 for some strange, messed up reason. Again, MMO brain. Brain craves MMO. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all stay strong, stay safe. Thank you very much for sticking with me. Thank you very much for the support. I love you all. Know that you mean something. And don't let anybody talk down to you. And never feel ashamed for showing up to one of my streams without a member badge. It's like, I appreciate it, but I'm not going to judge you. I'll treat you just the same way that I treat everybody else. And if I ever miss one of your messages, I'm sorry, but the games that I tend to play, they don't really, they require quite a bit of my attention. You know, playing Remnant 2 hardcore. Can't be looking at chat as much as I'd like to. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one, all right? Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.